guests this morning are people who exist in a historically fascinating, peculiar, and rare space. And we've referred to this panel as the crossroads of writing, publishing, and social media. And this is a sort of a unique opportunity, at least in the last 500 years, for people who are content producers, people who are creative storytellers in their various different ways, to come directly to their audiences with more power and more access than they've ever had before. And it's, for some, a scary time, for others an exciting time. At the very least, it's a time where we all have a lot to learn.
Thank you for having me. And I'd just like to say, every day the publishing market is changing. Every single day there's something different. And even now, I'm pitching new kids series. And with my books, I said, oh, I'm never going to have to worry about them being replaced because you have to touch things. And they're not going to go away. But now you're going to be able to touch things on a computer and smell things. And they're not going to go away. They're just going to evolve. And very recently, pitching new agents, new projects, I've been told, well, we want to have you in, but things are changing so quickly. We are hiring app people. We're hiring ebook people at publishing houses, and agents are bringing them in-house, because I think these would be great apps. Touch the Art would be great apps. And while I'm thinking I'm holding on to traditional publishing, really I have to embrace social media. I have to embrace that these books can do anything. Mona Lisa is going to be able to talk and tell kids all about her, and King Henry is going to talk about his wives, and it's changing. It's changing. We're going to take it in a new direction, and I'm completely embracing the fact that I can Skype a classroom as an author from Costa Rica and interact with even more kids and teachers and spread the word about art and the importance in the classroom and reach people that don't have it. So I'm fully embracing new social media, Twitter, Facebook, and reaching out as much as I can, and looking at non-traditional publishing and the changing market. So hopefully it'll take us in a good direction.
What I really set out to do is bring the same kind of quality and originality that people have started going to indie films for, to the literary fiction arena. And though I'm one of those writers that you'll really hear me kind of complain about the publishing industry, I really don't care about what publishers are doing. I tend not to be complaining like that. But readers frequently complain about the literary fiction market. They complain about the bestseller list. They go buy the books and they're just dissatisfied. They find them trite. They don't really understand why they are on the bestseller list. They don't understand why they won Pulitzers. And there's a dissatisfaction in the literary fiction market that I set out to capitalize upon. And writers across every genre, from children's literature to paranormal romance, are going indie. But I'm focusing on the literary fiction market, and when I say indie literature to people, they're like, right, why don't we have that? Right, indie films, indie music, indie literature. So that's really what I'm all about, is bringing a new level of quality and originality to the self-publishing arena, and really taking us back to a kind of literary fiction we're not seeing much from big publishing.
You know, I feel like when I read something in a magazine, you know, that's a certain reader experience. When I read a book, that's a different reader experience. You know, if I'm reading a blog post, different reader experience. So, and I think these all have individual value, and to tie them together into one product, to me, seems to sort of weaken the artistic sort of approach of what you're doing. I mean, on the other hand, you know, I know we're going in this direction where we're going, you know, it's going to be inevitable that a lot of people are going to be reading books and everything on readers, and they're not going to, you know. But at the same time, there's always, I think, I hope, and if not, I'll be long gone. but and I won't have to worry about it. But I think there's still, you know, going to remain a market for these, you know, these other forms for a long time, long after I'm gone. So for now, I feel like I want to tap into those. You know, I don't want to abandon the old media ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise out there, and a lot of it is to shut down on the noise and focus on your writing and focus on your readers and focus on what's possible and on navigating from there and focus on your strategy. And the lovely thing about a platform is it's not just who you know and what opportunities you can leverage. It's also who does your brother, your former boss, your alumni association, your civic organizations, your neighbor, their kids, who do they know? What opportunities can they leverage for you? It's first party lists, second party lists, third party lists and opportunities. And I think that is the problem with all these lovely opportunities is that a publishing house wants to see a platform that's about, you know, 20 times larger than they wanted to see 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I mean, it used to be that if you showed them that you could reach out and connect with, you know, 10,000 people, they were thrilled. I mean, now they want to see 1 million. You know, so I think it's the scale is also much higher, but it's also with social media, it's easier to get there. Everyone on your Facebook page, on your blog, on your email list, on your Twitter feed, on your colleagues' Twitter feeds and Facebook pages, you can cross-author collaborations to get to those numbers. So there's a lot of opportunity.
Personally, I have a particular attachment, healthy or otherwise, to the indie business model. So there are authors out there who call themselves indie authors, but to me, they're not leveraging an indie business model. They might be going through Amazon CreateSpace or Lulu.com or any number of things, and they also, and I don't mean this in a really critical way, but they also might not be bringing quality. Like, there's a lot of really amazingly horrible stuff being self-published. Like, there were 300,000 self-published books in 2009. So people just have no concept of what's out there. So to me, somebody who's doing that is not leveraging an indie business model. Indie, to me, is about bringing quality to homogenous markets. You have indie coffee houses that are scaring the pants out of Starbucks. Indie bookstores are actually on the rise again. I got goosebumps saying that. Like, I can't believe it. Indie bookstores are now opening more than they're closing. There's a market that is sick of Target and everybody's clothes looking the same, and IKEA, and you go to everyone's house and it's the same. Things like Etsy, which is an online community of artisans and handcrafters, these things have just blown up in the last 2 years. So to me, that's what indie is all about.
I have to say, from 2006, when my first 4 books came out, the marketing was primarily magazines. It was all magazines and old media. And now, when they launched my books last year, it was only mommy bloggers. That's it. It was all, and it was such a powerful grassroots sort of power to people. We're gonna, these are the people reading the books. And it's one thing to have someone at Kirkus or PW reviewing your book, and I'm thinking, do these people even have kids? Have they seen a child hold a book? Do they know? Because one of the reviewers said, yeah, art and kids, it's just too sophisticated. It's not for kids, as opposed to the mom that says, my kid sleeps with this book. She knows. Where the professional reviewers might not really know, because they don't actually see the books in the hands of the kids. The mommies know. They are the people that are actually reading these books. They're building the brand, and I trust their opinions. If they're reaching out to 1,000 people instead of 1 million people, those are the opinions that count.
The number one thing that convinces people to buy right now is the approval and the recommendation of someone they know and trust. That is why the focus was on the mommy bloggers for your books. It's because that is who is going to say, my child slept with this book. And increasingly, that's why we're going to TripAdvisor, we're going to Facebook and Twitter, is we're looking for the authentic web. That's what we're listening to.
I was a very early Twitter, Facebook really early Facebook objector. Like, I was the one that was sneering at my friends and kind of calling them stupid for being in my living room talking to each other on Facebook when we were all sitting right there. But I wanted to kill them. then, you know, 6 months later, I decided to do this, and then they're all like, what, you're on Facebook? And I mean, I have to say, there was a time when I thought Twitter and Facebook were going to rule the world, and now I feel like they might be our only hope for saving the world.
The same thing happened to me. I was really sort of, you know, even though I was sort of an early adopter of the blog platform, mostly it was in reaction to control by the media that I thought was just overwhelming. I wanted to have my own voice and not be hampered by the big medias and so forth. So I was also against, you know, initially I was not really a social media adapter in a way, you know, but I've come around too, because you can't deny. I mean, it's you know, it's undeniable what's happening, that you know, this direction we're moving in, you know, whether it's Twitter revolutions or you know, social action on a local scale, you know, it's really important. But my advice would be to, you know, find your niche, find your space, outline that space, find out who's in that space, and work on those folks. And you can only do that by creating good stuff. You have to have good stuff. So people want to read, you know, otherwise they're going to look you over. And you got to have it consistently, I think, or you end up being a one-hit wonder.
We don't really know right now, but there's no fighting it. It's happening, you know. Books aren't dead, they're just expanding. And so I think it's, how exciting.
Well, we got to remember the books. What we think of those print things have only been around for almost 600 years, but stories have been here since the beginning. And we've been sharing them and passing them around forever. And the thing that made good stories then makes good stories now. The thing that made good story sharers and passers on and conveyors is the same thing today. We just have a lot of tools that people haven't had for a long time. So we are in a really exciting, powerful place. Please take advantage of these neat people over the course of the day. Everyone in this room probably has something to contribute. Let's go have lunch and hear each other's stories, and let's keep in touch after today.